Supervisors, you guys have any conflict of interest in anything on the agenda today?
None.
Okay. We have one correction to the agenda, number 8, remove the utility permit from regional water. And with that, do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Charlie, second by Darren. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Consideration of claims for the end of September. You guys had a chance to look over those?
Yes.
Not as many as usual. Motion to approve.
Second.
Darren, second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Approval of the minutes for September 20th. Any changes or corrections, Mark?
No, sir.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes for September 20th as presented?
Motion.
Second. Motion by Charlie, second by Darren. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Set publication for the county farm ground auction for December 20th and the landfill. Be those two.
Yeah, I just picked those dates myself because the supervisors in the past have directed me to carry it later in the year.
Yeah, last year was still harvest and stuff going on, so we decided to move it back then.
Okay.
And then I'm also working with Cyclone Seed. That's who has the contract for the soil sampling and fertilizers. I think we're in our 3rd year of that, and so I'll have that all ready for when Mark will you be sending out notices and stuff, Mark? So I want to make sure you have all that.
I've not scheduled them yet.
Okay, just talk to me and make sure we get
It'll probably
everything
be
together.
right after Thanksgiving.
Okay. Okay. So do I have a motion to set the auction date for December 20th?
Motion.
Motion by Charlie.
Second.
Second by Darren. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Department head reports. We'll start with Brandon, secondary roads. Good morning.
The item I have on the agenda, utility permit for Nishnabogga Valley REC. They're just going from the intersection of 1900th and M47, a mile south of Irwin. And they're going a quarter mile to, there's not a house there, but it's an acreage location on the west side of M47. I believe there's going to be a house built there, so they're just going to extend the line that far in the right of way.
All in the road ditch right away?
Yep, in the right of way. I have no issues with it. They have insurance, they have a bond.
Okay.
So they have everything.
It doesn't include any other neighbor's land or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
I would recommend approval of this.
Do I have a motion to approve permit number 2022-09-20, no, yeah, -27, yep, for REC. Motion by Darren.
Second.
Second by Charlie. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Okay.
And then brief update from us. We got the 350 back from Western. We're currently grinding on Ironwood. Should be done with that tomorrow, and then move up to 2200.
Okay.
So that'll be, or 2200 next. One pipe crew is on Oak Road north of 2100, replacing a drop tube. The other is on 1300th and Woodland. There was a cross tube that needed replaced there, and then they're building up the intersection of M56 and 1400. It was real steep, so making it so a semi can pull up there and stop and then go. Got a crew out long grinding on F24 in between Highway 59 and Linden. They should get down there either today or tomorrow, and then we'll go under a patch all those spots. We're stockpiling in Harlan and a little bit in Jacksonville right now, mixing as we go. It's going really well. And kind of the bad part of that is got rock increase from Martin Marietta yesterday, 20% increase January 1st. So it goes up $2.
When did you say?
January 1st. So we're going to try to get everything extra full what we can afford here this fall.
They hadn't increased it yet this year prior to that?
Oh yeah, they have, but we usually get their price increase. And before everything went crazy, it was 25 cents. It's $2.75 a ton this time. So went from $14.20 to $16.95. So
Are they saying it's fuel issues or?
Fuel and personnel and equipment and
All the above.
all the above. So, yeah, I haven't seen anything from Shelby yet, but that's what Martin Marietta was.
Then
So-
what about Denison?
I haven't seen what Fort Dodge Rock has gone up. This is just out of Fort Calhoun, but I guess I would assume it's something similar.
Are we gonna get any more of that this year yet?
One more train, maybe next week.
Okay.
And they're kind of leery about the cold weather.
Right.
So,
Give me an idea, 20% increase in rock affects your budget, how much?
can buy 20% less. I mean,
Well, I mean, your overall budget.
It won't, we'll just buy less tonnage.
Okay.
You know, we'll try to stretch it as far as we can. And we've already been trying to do that. And we'll see what Shelby goes up. We might buy more Shelby rock than that. That was cheaper, but we'll see. Yeah. Yeah,
Just
just
good, 20% less rock, just
Yeah,
get
it's
it
just-
around, that's not good.
biting into our bottom line, but I do think with this 350, we're making the roads a better profile, narrowing them up some, and they consume less rock. And there's not the soft spots after we get that done, so. It's all, we're trying to get stuff improved, but it's tough when stuff goes up like that. F-24 and F-24 project and M16 patching, I'll be here next meeting for approval of those for January 11. DOT's left 59 in. And then next week, I believe Denko will be in to do some bridge deck patching on 5 different structures that we identified spots on, just trying to keep them as long as we can. And then they'll also be going to do the rumble strips at 191 and F32. They'll be doing those too. So in the next couple of weeks, they'll have traffic control. You'll still be able to get through. They do half the bridge at a time.
Who does that?
Denko out of Mingo, Iowa. They've done all our bridge deck patching. They did the slurry leveling this year. They do a really good job. So, and then I talked with Kirkham Michael when we had our federal bridge audit. They just recommend counties don't inspect their own fracture critical bridges. There's just way too much for counties to do, and there's way too much liability. So I contacted them, and they're going to do our 4 high trusses for $750 a piece, and our 7 pony trusses for $540 a piece. So with $6,780, they'll do all our fracture critical inspections for us.
And how often do you need to do that?
Some are 2 years, some are 1 year. So it'll go by what the inspection cycle, and they might change them. Some if they feel the last 2 years, they'll change them to 2 year or 1 year. But I feel like
What's the time frame they'll get that done?
March. We're still good on our inspections till March. They'll come in during our regular inspection cycle to do them. So I feel like that was good advice from them, and they'll crawl all over them and do the inspections, and it takes all their liability off the ground with that. So,
How many of them do we have, you said?
we have 4 high trusses, the ones with the lattice work over the top of you, and 7 pony trusses, the ones with just the sides. So still have 11 fracture critical bridges left, but
Are any of them on our 5-year plan?
no.
No.
Most of them are dirt road structures that facilitate vehicular traffic, and they don't get abused. But
When you say fracture critical, does that mean they've already been identified as having issues, or?
no, fracture critical means if an element breaks, there's no redundancy. So if an element breaks, they fall down.
Gotcha.
A good example is that one up on I-35 in Minneapolis. That was fracture critical. It was a pin and hanger assembly, and a pin broke and the bridge fell down. These are just, there's two structural elements that carry the bridge, and if one fails, it falls down. We don't build them like that anymore, but they still serve the public, so.
Okay.
And that's all I have for today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Sheriff Neil Gross, department report. Morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. How are you doing today?
Good. Good.
So recently, we started back to school here in August. We got our SRO back up in there. He's been busy between Elkhorn and Harlan. He's trying to hop around a little bit and show a face in Irwin, as well as, time for Todd's down here too. He's swinging and just saying hi every once in a while too. They want to see if they can just have him swing through, so we're doing that. But he is swamped right now, which is good. So he likes being busy between homecoming this past week and everything else. So we're back to that. Our 2 canines, one of them is out currently. He had a surgery about a month and a half back for a torn ACL and meniscus that he received an injury during a track of a suspect that fled from a stolen vehicle. We did get the suspect, but he stepped in a hole while the leash was tight and kind of tore his leg. So we did get that fixed. But both of them are down in Kansas right now for their yearly research. So hopefully we can, he's not training. He's kind of standing by. We'll have to get him certified when he gets back here, but the handler is actually on the board down there for the organization, so he went down as well. Hopefully we can bring back some awards with our other canine Odin as he has in the past. We're looking at is hopefully we signed a new software program back on February 10th that we're going to implement into the sheriff's office. We've had issues with our vendor, working with our IT company. They can't seem to, I don't know if it's a timely response or what it is, equipment, certain things they need. We're finally, I think within the last few weeks of closing the deal on that and getting our new software for our historical data and stuff at the sheriff's office. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have that done. We recently hosted a training. We invited Audubon County and Cass County and the Harlan Police Department and ourselves out to a farmhouse that we found that we've been able to utilize for some tactical training, different things like that. So it was a good turnout. We had about 20 officers out there the other day. EMA was out there flying the drone for us, kind of giving us an overview of what was going on. So we've hosted a couple trainings now, and they've had great turnouts, trying to keep things local, save everybody money for traveling purposes. We're actually going to go Wednesday probably over to Audubon and help out in their schools with some active shooter stuff over there as well. We've got some instructors that are certified for that they requested. So we're full staff. And my last hire finally is on the road, and he is solo, and he's doing a great job. And he's Ben Wagner. He's picking it up real quick. He came from the Harlan Police Department. You know, the county's a little bit different process, so he learned, and he's doing a really good job. So we're happy to be at full staff and have him out there. Currently, I've got a couple deputies working on grants for some equipment, helmets, and things that we just would like to have and haven't had over the past few years. Some innovative equipment that we want to update a little bit with the times. And so we're working on some grants for those, trying to affect the budget. So you guys might see something come through on that. That's what that's about. So,
Could you explain quick what those advantages of these new helmets that you're asking for?
yeah, so we've got some old ballistic helmets. They're almost, they almost look like the old war helmet from back in the day. They will stop rounds, but at this point in time, everything's, you know, we're running into not so much a .357 mag or a pistol, we're running into high power rifles, we're running into different things like that. So we're getting a little bit higher stopping power out of that helmet. As far as the ballistics go, they're lighter weight. They have the ability to attach attachments such as lights or other things like that that we're utilizing in our training nowadays. You know, you don't have to look back very far to the Florida shooting where the guy was wearing a helmet and saved his life down at that nightclub. So, not saying we get shot at every day, but we've been shot at before, and then just beat the guys that just feel more comfortable going into some of those situations. We cover our entire torso in our region. We'll put something on the head.
There's communications in there.
And there's communication systems that come with it. There's ear protection as well as communication. So, you know, it takes one shooting, and whatever officers are in that shooting didn't have ear protection on that. They're probably done. So we're trying to prevent that. It was a really busy summer again. It hasn't slowed down yet, but we are, with the falling temperatures, it seems like it slows things down a little bit. I'm waiting to see that happen. It hasn't happened yet. I purchased a new vehicle from Keys Ford last October. It got built September 6th. I'm waiting to see it delivered to the lot. So hopefully that happens here in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I think that's about what I've got.
I got a couple questions for you.
would like to ask the public, it's harvest. You know, we're up and down the roads just as much as they are. I know everybody's in a hurry to get to where they want to go. Let's just slow down a little bit. Nothing worth risking your life out there. So slow down, and hopefully you don't see us in the meantime. So appreciate that. Yes.
I wonder if you've had any information back on the repeaters, how that's working?
Good call. I have one installed currently. It is not programmed correctly. They are coming back out on the 11th to install my second because they found out it wouldn't work with the radio, so they had to do something on their end. There's been a lot of hiccups. We've tried 3 times to get these repeaters installed. The 11th is the new date. They're going to come out, reprogram the one that's in the car to get it functional, as well as install the second one. So I will have an update next time if they're working or not and what that did for us. But right now we've had one installed. We haven't been able to use it because it's not programmed right.
The second one's going in Cody.
I'm actually probably going to throw it in Deputy Nathan Tibbetts' vehicle.
So you feel the 11, you'll be able to get them up and going?
Yes, I should have both operational. on the
Okay.
11th. That's their only task that day is to come out.
Okay.
So hopefully we can make that happen.
Okay. The last question I got, if, like say by the first of the year, if you and Kyle could get together, I know you sent some information out, or kind of narrowed it down how you want to spend that opioid
Yes.
money,
Yeah.
you know, what options or what programs you think would best be fit for that.
Yep, definitely.
I know it's not a large one, I think it's under 8,000.
I think $7,000, but I know on my portion of things, what I would like to do is equip my 11 deputies with at least one, if not 2, and they're $100 a piece. But they're Narcan injector that'll go through clothing just as an EpiPen will.
Oh, okay.
And it's stored in a hard case that you can keep in your pocket. It's a 10 milligram dose. So currently I carry a 2 milligram dose nasal injector of Narcan. I carry 5 of those on my person because I've been to calls where 3 wasn't enough, 4 wasn't enough, and by the 5th one, it finally brought them back. So
Yeah.
with 5 of them on my pockets, I'm up to 10 milligrams. I could get rid of those and replace them with 2
Right.
of those other injectors and have 20 milligrams.
So it doesn't hurt to give
You're
them.
not
10
going to overdose
milligrams.
anybody with naloxone. No, it will not affect them.
So if you could bring a proposal.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are thinking.
Absolutely.
Marcus, do you know when we'll be receiving money? Is that ways out yet? We've got it. We've
Yeah, I
got it
think
ready?
we've got
Okay.
it.
Okay. So whenever you guys can get
There's about
something.
17,000, I believe, sitting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how often do we get it?
Every year.
Once a year, so we
Yeah.
got 17?
Yeah.
And it has to be spent for opioid.
Correct.
related.
Prevention or
Yeah, related.
anything with the process.
Was the first payment larger? I thought it was only going to be
Yeah, I thought it was
7,000 or 8,000
No,
a
it's,
year.
17.
Well, I think they had another settlement that may be part of this.
Okay. Well, you got more to work with.
Okay. Yeah, no, we can.
So if you guys can get something to us.
We'll get a plan to you. Yeah.
Okay.
I know that'll be the first thing on my books is purchasing those for the guys. Just easier to carry, less space, a little bit more of a punch.
$17,000 a year for 16 years.
Okay. And if
For 16 years now, too.
you don't have enough to fit that, would you mind reaching out to like Lori Hope with Public Health
Yeah.
and see if they have something?
Yeah.
So maybe put it together, because we all work together.
Yeah, definitely.
I would
Okay.
think RJ could use some of that.
I was going to do that, but wait, give the county departments first chance. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's gonna fit them as much as any.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all.
I mean, if they took $17,000, then, yeah, it'd be gone.
You know, I'll be honest, we can't. I mean, it's something we need at this point. It's not, 3 years ago it was talked about, and we purchased our first, I think, canister of Narcan. Now it's here. We're running into it. I think we're already up to 6, 7 calls, possible overdoses this year because of it.
And what's the shelf life of that? Is it
2 years.
2 years, okay.
I know you had put out a bulletin early, that's when Neil responded. Had any other departments responded that they could meet that criteria? Because I didn't think many of them.
The jail did.
Yeah, that's why I said the jail.
Yeah.
We'll get together, we'll get something out to you guys.
Okay.
Try to get that one on that.
Okay.
I just have to create new account numbers to track our spending.
Sounds good.
And that has not been done yet, because I don't know what to call.
Perfect.
Yeah, we won't have any of that till we get something approved here anyway, so. Okay, thanks, Neil.
Thanks.
Next on the agenda, Home-Based Iowa Initiative Resolution 2022-45. Mark, can you read that resolution? And they presented at our last board meeting, and the board voted that we would like to participate in this, so that's what that resolution is about.
It's a Shelby County, Iowa resolution supporting the Home-Based Iowa Initiative. Whereas the Office of the Governor of the state has launched a public-private partnership called Home-Based Iowa Initiative, which is an effort to match military veterans with the jobs available across Iowa. And whereas the Home-Based Iowa Initiative consists of 2 programs, Home-Based Iowa Business and Home-Based Iowa Communities. And whereas Governor Reynolds is requesting Iowa businesses and communities to promote and support the Home-Based Iowa Initiative, and one of the requirements for Shelby County is to be a home-based Iowa community, is that the Board of Supervisors adopt a resolution of support. And whereas the Shelby County Board of Supervisors finds that it is in the best interests of Shelby, the County of Shelby, and veterans everywhere to support the Home-Based Iowa Initiative and adopt this resolution. Now therefore, it's resolved by the County of Shelby, Iowa as follows. The County of Shelby hereby proclaims its support for the Home-Based Iowa Initiative and encourages its residents to take whatever actions are necessary for Shelby County to become and continue to be a home-based Iowa county. The County of Shelby also encourages Shelby County businesses to take whatever actions are necessary to become and continue to be a home-based Iowa business. The Shelby County Board of Supervisors and Shelby County Chamber of Commerce and Industries Executive Director are authorized to take such further action as may be necessary to carry out the intent and purpose of this resolution. All resolutions, orders, or parts thereof in conflict herewith, to the extent of such conflict, are hereby repealed, and this resolution shall be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption and approval.
Any questions, guys?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Charlie, second by Darren. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. And will you be forwarding that on to Jim?
Shelby.
Correct. Okay. One thing I noticed on our agenda today, Todd, did you want to give a report today?
No, we're good.
We're good?
Yeah, Mark reached out to me, but
I reached out.
with, yeah, with the.
Knew it would be
size.
full and
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay. Memorandum of Understanding for Southwest Iowa Juvenile District Court. Well, Darren is going to just talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, I sit on the juvenile board, and this pertains to the state law that was passed last year that juveniles could not be housed in the county jail overnight, which in itself was probably a good idea at the time, but then there's always exception to the rule. For example, juveniles that have a history, prior history, or juveniles that are not really juveniles, they're quite large or violent, and the juvenile detention center does not have the personnel or the capability to deal with people like that. So what we've got that Potawatomi County has already done was come up with a standing order from the county, from the regional court that allows them to work that. If the JDC says that they cannot handle these students, they will get back with that county's sheriff's department, and then we'll come to an agreement as to taking them back and housing them there. I think, Neil, I don't know if you guys still house them separately from the other.
Well, by law, we have to. The juvenile has to be assigned separate from an adult. Forcible felony wise would hold, but we haven't had a juvenile in custody in 15 plus years. So
Again, this probably won't pertain to us, but it's just something that Don at the juvenile, they decided that they would like to have one of these from each county, a memorandum of understanding from us, which does not require an action. from us?
I've been advised, yeah.
Okay.
It does.
So basically, we can take this memorandum that was drawn up with Pot County, just put Shelby County in its place, and we're good to go. Right?
I mean, I think the board needs to agree to
Okay.
enter into the memorandum of understanding.
So you think it does?
Yeah, I think you need to have, because otherwise
Oh, it's on record?
yeah.
Okay. And I did talk to Judge Larson, he did also sign the standing order for us as well.
Would you like to make that motion?
I would.
Second.
Okay, motion by Darren, second by Charlie. Memorandum of understanding to sort this out juvenile court. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Darren?
Yes.
I would assume that that's a signature spot for me. With RKO.
Even though it doesn't, the standing order is the only one that has a signature spot. The memo of understanding does not. I forwarded it to you. Did you get a chance to look at it?
I did. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
Everything look okay to you besides that?
Yeah, it did, but the only thing is, our jail's obviously set up quite differently than Pot County's. You know, they have a separate wing where they can hold, where we don't have that capability, so the special circumstance, if we had a violent juvenile that had to come back and they were gonna hold us against this order, and we were full, we would probably be paying another county agency to house them that would be capable of holding that juvenile. Because we're only 14 beds compared to 288 beds in Pot County with a 50-bed sanction for
And maybe,
they see a lot more down there than we do, so. I mean, when we discussed, I mean, we could do it, but I mean, there's gonna be a special.
can we also have an agreement that Pot County could take them, and even if they were?
Well, and that,
we would probably pay Pot County to take them anyways, if it came to that.
Okay.
to hold, but we could accommodate, but it just would be, I mean, I just don't want them to think.
And again, as far as the billing on this, it's done through our current agreement, 28 agreement.
Yeah,
correct.
With them, they just added on, and it's taken care of on a yearly basis, so.
Marcus, did you have any?
No, I looked at it and I didn't have any questions. I think it's something that it's just one of those things that needs to be done to make sure that it's covered if that does happen.
Okay.
So did the state law change anything in regards of juvenile housing? I mean, because it used to be forcible felony behind locked door, I mean.
Yeah, no,
And now it's
the law
like-
is the same. I think it's more of a policy
Okay.
on behalf of the juvenile detention center.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll move on. Next on the agenda is accept and file a report and recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance number 2022-4. Tony?
Good morning.
Tony Hume is our planning and zoning administrator.
So as you gentlemen are probably aware, the zoning commission has been meeting numerous times, as well as held a public hearing and gathered written and oral commentary on the proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance for tracking purposes 2022-4. The commission is essentially a volunteer appointed board, and their role is to make recommendations to the Board of Supervisors when it comes to any changes in the actual zoning ordinance. So if there was going to be an update to the map, such as changing the district or changing the language in the ordinance, their role is to review it, do research, look at how it ties to the comprehensive plan, and make recommendations to the board. So I'm very proud of them. They've worked hard. They were very diligent, asked lots of questions, and asked for information to be provided. They held their meeting on the 23rd of September, at which a lot of local officials gave testimony, as well as various members of the public gave input. And I don't think there has been anything that's been said against adopting this ordinance. I know through the process there were sort of three themes that kept coming up from people that were providing information to the commission. And then the first is safety, or the proximity to a potential pipeline. The second would be the potential impact on economics, values, things like that. And then the third is the impact on future use of property for development, building, things like that. And so the commission has put together a report that they have submitted to you with the overall recommendation for passing of the ordinance.
Okay. I just want to thank you and the commission. I know they're all volunteers, kind of pulse the community out there, business people, and so appreciate their time and yours to put all this together.
I was concerned that, again, since they're volunteers and doing their own time and coming in at a time when, potential project has a lot of, strong passions and opinions one way or another on it, that I was concerned that they would be willing to engage, but they were very much so. They weren't intimidated by their task. They just wanted to try to do a good job for folks, and that if projects would happen in the future, what would it look like and how can we all get along and not only allow for the projects, but also, for individual concerns as they outlined in the report.
So they presented a report to the Shelby County Board of Supervisors by the Shelby County Planning and Zoning Commission regarding proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance for hazardous liquid pipelines 2022-4. That's the report. And then they also, all the written comments to the planning and zoning regarding proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance for hazardous liquid pipelines 2022-4 has all been presented to us, had a chance to look it over. Do you have anything else to ask Tony before we accept the report? Again, I just want to say thank you, and you did a good job putting everything together.
And they're already meeting later this month to start talking about wind turbines. There's talk about wind turbines coming to the county. There's actually been a lease filed this week for that, so we need to clarify how that will look going forward.
Yeah, I think we talked, I think it was back July or August, our goal, hopefully for the first of the year, I don't know if we're going to make that, but was to do the pipeline and...
Well, initially the goal was, I was going to work with them on potential solar farms as well as wind farms,
right.
And then the board decided that they wanted to amend the potential hazardous pipelines, so we had to shift gears and work on that. So
right. Yeah.
Back to the original task.
Do you have anything else? No. Okay, do I have a motion to accept and file the report from planning and zoning?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Darren. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is to direct our legal counsel to draft changes to the proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance number 2022-4, the same one we just talked about, and come first with recommendations of planning and the zoning commission. The two recommendations they had was consideration be given to how private wells may be affected by the sitting of hazardous liquid pipelines and whether any setback should be contemplated for them. That's one. The other one is that points where the pipeline or pipeline facilities are above ground be given additional consideration in regards to setbacks. The commission believes there might be enhanced potential for leaks or release of hazardous liquids from the pipeline at such points compared to a buried line. So I guess I'll speak first on that. I would like to direct our council to look at the well, but on consideration of setbacks for a facility. I think we need to take that into consideration because the last time I heard there wasn't going to be any buildings, pumping facilities in our county.
No pumping stations, but there will be some valve sites.
Which it still needs to come above ground for that.
It will.
They do come above ground for the valves?
Just for the valve, yeah.
Okay, see, I thought there'd probably be stems down in the ground.
The pipe, I'm not sure if the pipe comes above ground, but the valve, it will be an above ground appurtenance where the valve station is. I can, we can
Yeah,
write that.
it's just a shut-off valve, but yeah, I can write it down. We can get you some more information on that, for sure.
Okay. Okay. So is that, does it have a building over it or is it just out in Mother Nature?
It's just a fenced area
Okay.
where the valve comes up and it's sitting right there, so we can.
The valve stem?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that'd be
My
good.
understanding was the valves were going to be automatic, is that not true?
Yes.
They are,
But they are automatic, but you can also.
but there is a manual.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Okay. So would you guys be okay with that? If we do a little more research on the valve part and direct Tim to try to incorporate some more research with the DNR on the well part?
Yep.
Okay. Do I have a motion to that?
Motion.
Second. Motion by Charlie, second by Darren to direct legal counsel to draft changes. One, the well we will do for sure with, working with the DNR, and the valving we will take under consideration. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Okay, hazardous liquid pipeline ordinance, resolution fixing the dates for 3 public hearings under proposed to amend various sections of the Shelby County zoning ordinance number 2006-6. That's our original zoning ordinance, for the purpose of regulating and restricting the use of land for the transport of hazardous liquid pipeline through hazardous liquid pipe. The dates we want to set up for that are proposed October 18th, that'll be our first hearing. October 25th, which would be our second hearing. Both those dates would be here to Turkleson Center, and they would be at 10 o'clock after our regular scheduled meeting. Okay? The third meeting, final, would be on November 1st, and that will be, the Turkleson Center is taken that day, the Alba Room's taken that day, so it's going to be at Vets Auditorium, unless Turkleson Center for some reason frees up otherwise, and that'll also be at 10 o'clock. So all 3 meetings will be at 10 o'clock. Any questions on that? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Charlie,
second.
second by Darren. Marcus shouldn't have any problem meeting these days, getting the notices and stuff out there.
No.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you, guys. Okay. Kaylee Langrill and Riley Gibson representing Shelby County, salute for Shelby County. Summit Carbon Solutions, giving updates on the project. Morning.
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 You guys mind if I pass these down?
Thank you.
Thank you. No problem. I have 3 handouts in there. One is a map, which you've all seen before, and then 2 of them are just more informational. So I wanted to kind of start by reintroducing myself, because the last time I was here, I know you've seen a lot of us, but probably not me, because the last time I was here was in June. So my name is Kaylee Langrill. I work for Turnkey Logistics. We represent Summit Carbon Solutions, doing mainly non-environmental permitting. So that's Riley's job. He's your primary contact for road crossings. He's working with Brandon and Tony as well. So my primary job is going around to county boards, giving informational presentations, answering questions the best that I can. I will say, when we do get to the question portion, we always write those down if I don't have an answer, because I know a little bit about everything and not a lot about anything. So I'll just start. Last time I was here, we kind of went over why Summit Carbon is pursuing the project, talked about the tax numbers, and I gave you guys a brief project update, and then we kind of went into a question period. So today, the plan is just to go into a project update, and then I'll go over a little bit of this frequently asked questions page with you guys. So as far as the project update, we still do expect construction to start in summer 2023. Probably late summer, August, September. And then as far as land acquisition, these numbers are as of the 27th of September. So just putting that out there, because I have to get all the information ready and then send it out to the team to present and everything. So they are a little bit, there's a little bit of lag in there. So as of 9/27, we had a little over 52% of easement miles acquired in the state. And then as far as permitting, we have submitted some crossing permits in Iowa. I don't believe we've gotten Shelby County yet, but we are working on getting those submitted. And then as far as partnerships and investors, we kind of went over that last time, but I do have those all, a few of them listed out on this Iowa page. And if you notice, this is as of September 27th, it says on this page. So if you're looking at these miles and everything, that's when these were done. So, moving on, I guess that's really all I have for an update. If you guys have questions, we're here to answer them and take notes and get back to you guys if we don't have the answer. And I will add, as far as the valve station we were talking about a minute ago, I do have a photo that I can send you guys of an example.
Okay.
If that helps.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
And then, as I look at your map, just so I understand it, the red says mainline valves.
Correct.
So there's 2 in our county,
Correct.
correct? And they're approximately 15 miles apart, if my math is right?
That could be correct. I know the max distance that they could be apart is 20 miles.
Max is 20.
Yes, and I do have that on this sheet here. We kind of go through the PHMSA requirements and then what we're doing.
So then Riley, there must be another one just before it comes in our county?
Potentially, yes. I'd have to, I'm trying to picture a map in my head. A lot of the times they could be shorter and further spaced apart, not past 20 miles, but given certain sensitive areas, we may want to block off. So some may be shorter or closer.
So they're not proportionally all the same every 15 miles, let's say?
Yeah, say we have a river crossing or something, they may want to
Okay.
have one on either side of the river crossing, and those will run off our SCADA system, so they can detect like a minute change in pressure and start shutting valves off, or
Okay.
they can also be accessed manually if need be. So
Okay.
How fast reaction is there to that? I mean, you say even if there's a minute leak, you detects it, does somebody have to come in and say, okay, yeah, there's something going on here, let's shut it down, or does it?
our SCADA system should shut it down, but if that doesn't work, we'll have staff and aims that are permanently, they're kind of like almost like an EMA room where, they have computer screens, a bunch of data coming in, and if the SCADA system doesn't trigger it, then it should alert them. They can trigger it from there, so.
So does it get down to a certain pressure and then it automatically shuts off?
It should be very small.
Pressure and temperature.
Yeah, pressure and temperature. They can
That's
basically
good.
monitor
That's good.
everything that's happening throughout the project pipeline, so.
But you can't just shut a valve, you've got to affect the whole system, you got to stop pumping at the ethanol plants, I mean, the whole system's got to shut down.
Yeah, it's,
Can you really do that fast?
Well, the valve systems are what's automatic. So if say there was some kind of breach, again, that would be unlikely, but if there was between these two, they would both automatically shut. And then the rest of that, I believe, which we can get more, at the ethanol plants, we can get more information on that, but that would be manual, I believe.
yeah, I know they can isolate the breach, so.
Between the two valves.
Yeah, they can isolate it, and then they'll go down the system, make sure they don't cause other breaches.
Yeah.
By shutting down wherever they need to shut down to make sure, we're not backloading.
I'm just thinking in my head, if we shut down the valve, you've still got pressure coming
Yeah.
behind that.
It's gonna be a chain reaction of things that will take place. I
There'll
mean,
be a lot more pressure.
potentially the entire thing could just, shut down, but the main thing is to, isolate the breach and then make sure we don't cause another one in the process of isolating the breach. So there's a lot of systems that they're putting in place to make sure that
And
happens.
these are in use right now on other different kinds of pipelines, so they've been used before without issue.
And has this map, I know you talked about changing it if needed to, the route. Have you had any significant changes at all?
I don't believe there's been any significant changes in Shelby County. I mean, this is a very zoomed out version. Obviously, we're working with landowners, so there's been small changes, but not anything that you can
Just
see on this
feet,
map.
not miles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you identified any other routing at this time?
Like rerouting?
Yeah.
Not in Iowa. I think there was, I don't think anywhere recently. There was a small reroute up in North Dakota, I think.
So, but none in the whole project or in our county or any other county?
Besides small changes, I think now that we're in the process of getting our IUB permit, we're kind of, subject to a corridor. So like there's wiggle room that we have through the IUB that, potentially we can shift based on landowners. And, say they want it on another side of the farm, we may be able to, accommodate that. But now that we're in, full swing with the process of the IUB, they've given us kind of a corridor that if we say we have to shift too far, it'd be one of those things where we'd have to go through and redo a lot of things, so.
Okay.
And the more easements that we sign, the more limited we are on shifts. So we are at, I think we're above 53% at this point in Iowa.
So where are we at in the county?
In the county, so last time I was here, we were at 27, and then as of the 27th of September, we were at about 42% of easement miles acquired.
For Shelby County?
Yes, and this is according to our internal data, so there's, again, lag time between when it's posted on the IUB, so I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question. So if our zoning ordinance passes, say, November, then how soon will you provide us with an alternative route map?
We have to work with our team. I think our main thing is we want to, when we initially developed this plan, we're following all the state and federal regulations that are laid out for us and developing this line and this path. So it'd just be a matter of, working with our team and seeing how we fall within the current laws and making sure we.
That would be our engineering team would have to do some work on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of go off their direction?
Yep.
Okay. I guess another one I have is, it's my understanding, the company stated down in Montgomery County a few weeks ago that they had no intention of complying with local permitting. Are you still planning to do that? Or what are yours?
We're talking with every county and every project state that we're in to work, we're talking with Brandon, we're talking with different engineers in different counties to make sure that we're following the permit process as each county wants. Asking depth of pipe under roads, whether we can bore or open cut or it needs to be bored, things like that. So we're trying to work with counties as much as possible. I don't know who would have said that, but that's, we're definitely working with the counties as far as.
It was stated down in Montgomery County when their planning and zoning was looking at the zoning ordinance, and a representative down there said, well, we would not comply with that. Is that still the mindset of the company?
I think we're federally regulated, so as far as, I feel like we're talking about like road crossings and stuff like that. We are federally regulated and regulated at the state level, so it really just all depends. We will follow what the law requires. So if the law requires, then that's what we'll do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got one question. I noticed, I don't know what it was in, but it was a request to one of the communities for a large use of water. How much water you're going to have to use. Can you tell me what the process is? Why it uses water, and why it uses so much? Is it every town along the way, or how?
Yeah, so we have one person at Turnkey that's working with different water companies, and I can get that answer. I am not very well versed in that. I know that it will require a lot of water, but we can get that answer.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with our facilities at the ethanol stations themselves. So
What station?
the ethanol plant, the ethanol
That's
plant.
where the water would be used.
Yes, correct. And
Is it on the capture part of it?
yes, I'll double check on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case, that they'll need the water for the ethanol plants and the capture facilities that we'll put on the ethanol plant. So I can get you some more information on that though.
Any other questions? Okay. Thanks for coming today.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you all for your time, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna jot down some questions, hopefully we get you some information,
All right.
especially about slides and the water.
You can forward them to Mark and he can get them out to us.
Okay, perfect.
You got my information?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry.
Okay, any questions or comments from the public before we adjourn? No? Okay, meeting adjourned, thanks.
Thank you.